but we are trying to get more voices. Mr. Tarek Fatah is with me on the phone line, and Abhishek, you also please feel free to put forth your question. But Mr. Fatah, we are focusing on the meeting that has happened in Doha between the ambassador of India to Qatar and the head of Taliban's political office in Doha. And quick takeaways from this meeting, primarily that India has raised its concerns when it comes to safety, security, early return of Indian nationals, and the fact that Afghanistan's soil should not be used for anti-India activities, and the Taliban is giving assurances to India. What do you have to say?
Well, I have mixed feelings because I suppose the Indian government did have to make some contact to get their citizens out from Taliban-occupied Afghanistan, if I could call it that. So at least for the safety of the Indian nationals, it might be necessary. But any recognition given to the Taliban is always heartbreaking because they will find strength in this. And my feeling is that they're literally using foreigners as hostages to create diplomatic channels so they get recognition. And which leaves very little, room for maneuvering, because you're caught between either abandoning your citizens there or negotiating with these bloodthirsty marauders to, get them back. So I can't be in India's shoes, but I wouldn't like to have anything to do with the Taliban in any circumstances. They're going to come. So whatever they say should be taken with a pinch of salt. These are people who lie as part of their religiosity, as part of how they deal in war and peace. They've lied straight through to the Afghan people too. And we already have an opposition in the Panjshir Valley of the former vice president who has taken over. So much is to be said, but purely from humanitarian point of view, I suppose India had to do this, as will other countries, to get the citizens out.
But Mr. Fatah, in your view, with the kind of developments that have really taken place in the past few days, what are the options that India has at this point?
That's what I'm saying. Very few options. India, if I was anyone in New Delhi, I would say strengthen your claim over and help the people of Balochistan. Declare Pakistan as a state sponsor of terror, because when you're dealing with the Taliban, you're dealing with Pakistan. The Taliban are nothing else than the product of Rawalpindi, a product of the Pakistan intelligence services, the ISI, and they will stage clashes across the country to show that the Taliban are the nice guys, and invented group called the ISIS-K, which nobody had heard of any time, is the real problem. And I guess the Americans fell for it, as did the Canadians. And it's been a tragedy ever since the United States used Pakistan as a proxy to fight the Soviet Union over there. And it's an unending tragedy. And the only player who can have an effect over there is India. But I suppose the people in New Delhi know better than I do than to exercise their strength, even in the billions that they have not, everyone says invested, basically gifted to the people of Afghanistan for their development and for their reaching up from out of the war. But we've gone back to square one now. And I would say Pakistan has come up again with a very evil view of world politics and how to manipulate religion and nationalism and all that. But it will hurt them as well. A certain channel of contact will do no harm if it saves Indian lives in Kabul.
Right. Absolutely, it is seeming like that, Mr. Tarek Fateh. Many thanks for speaking to Republic this evening. Also with me on the phone line is Major Gaurav Arya. Because Major, the details we are flashing on our screens of the MEA statement and most importantly of the meeting that has taken place in Doha between the Indian ambassador and the head of Taliban's political office.